Good afternoon. It's Jim Whitehead. Yeah, I'm back. I promised you or threatened you, one or the other, however you want to look at it. All right, today we're going to talk about, and it's interesting that we, especially being in South Florida, we kind of go, ooh, it'd be nice if it was a little cool. And it is a little cooler than it has been, but still, you'd say, is it like Siberia cold? And we'd say, never will be. Anyway, so today we're going to talk about, again, the animals in Siberia, Russia. I always love watching YouTube where you've got someone that lives in Siberia and they go through all the issues they have to in reference to dealing with the cold, having enough food, having enough capability of heat. So, it's a whole different environment. But the animals, of course, say, we like it here. Anyway, okay, moving along here. Siberia is the vast region of Russia known for its extreme climate, is home to a wide range of animals that have adapted to the harsh conditions. And interesting when you look, and it just came to my thought, when you look at animals, fish, I should say, that are in the ocean and the depths that they have to live in, not only do you have extremely cold water, you have high pressure on that fish and very little light, if any light at all. So the body is so good over time of where it adapts to these unbelievable conditions. And people wouldn't know. Anyway, from its dense forests, the taiga, to its frozen tundra, Siberia provides habitats for some of the world's most resilient creatures. Here are some of those notable animals that live in Siberia. Okay, number one, that's the Siberian tiger. And boy, are they beautiful. I mean, really. I know you're saying, I guess you have to love animals to love all the animals. So anyway, that's what I do. But the Siberian tiger, also known as the Amur tiger, is the largest cat species in the world. Found in the forests of eastern Siberia, this majestic predator has thick fur, yeah, we would hope so, and large paws which help it navigate through the snow. And obviously, if you and I went in, we would either be sinking in snow up to our, I don't even know how high, but we would have a tendency to say how you could walk in these conditions is wearing snowshoes. So, the animals have a body that's adapted to not only all the cold and this and this and this, but it also has, in this case, paws that will keep it from, in most cases, sinking into the snow, and also keeping their feet or paws warm. So anyway, despite its size and power, the Siberian tiger is endangered due to its habitat loss and poaching. This is one of the sad things that I do say whenever I do any, and it's mainly animals, you find where we've got some stupid people mean people financially motivated in the wrong way to basically kill these animals for, in a lot of cases, their hide or their fur. And it just, especially being endangered, please leave them alone. Anyway, okay, now we've got the snow leopard. This snow leopard is a solitary. I don't blame the leopard for being solitary. Elusive big cat that inhabits the mountainous regions of the southern Siberia. With thick, pale fur and a long tail for balance, snow leopards are superbly adapted to the cold and rugged terrain. Here we go. They are highly endangered and rarely seen in the wild. There should be motivations not to have it where any of these animals, from a negative point of view like this, have to lose their lives. That's how I feel. I will never tell you something I don't feel or is not the truth. Okay, next is our Siberian husky. And thank goodness they're not endangered, and they're funny animals. I mean, they have a good spirit, they're beautiful, they're smart. Anyway, the Siberian husky is a dog breed originally developed in the Chukchi people of Siberia. While domesticated, these dogs are well adapted to cold climates with their thick double coats, incredible stamina, and strength. They were historically used for sledding, and that's exactly, even though, again, I don't read all of this before I do it, so sometimes I'm learning right along with you. And as soon as they said that they're stamina and strength, I said, yep, dog teams. And whenever you watch them like the Iditarod and all the issues of what these dogs have to do to pull a sled, is just absolutely amazing. And they've got a good spirit. They try real hard. They try to please, I guess, the person running the sled. And, God bless them. So anyway, they were for sledding, especially in harsh Arctic environments. Now, Arctic in this case meaning cold, snow, wind. Okay, moving to our next wonderful animal. This is the Eurasian lynx. A Eurasian lynx is a medium-sized wild cat found across Siberia's forests. Recognizable by the tough ears and short tail, the lynx is an excellent hunter that preys on small mammals like hares and birds. It is well adapted to the snowy environment, using its wide paws to move across snow-covered terrain. Again, specific process of when they're breeding of over, a good long time, their bodies kind of adapt a little bit even more into whatever conditions they're in. So, pretty darn cool. Okay, the next one is the Siberian musk deer. The Siberian musk deer is a small, shy deer species that inhabits the taiga forests of Siberia. Unlike other deer, the males have no antlers, but instead possess long canine teeth that resemble fangs. You know, I pulled this picture, and certainly I pull appropriately related to my topic. But, you know, I got to admit, it could be the male or female, and this is probably a female. These animals are hunted for their musk glands, which are highly valued in perfumery. Now, would you go to a store to buy perfume and particularly look for this animal that has been killed for this perfume that you're going to buy? You know, the whole thing is we try to suggest if it's not good, don't buy. I mean, if it's coming from an animal that has to be killed so you'd have perfume, please don't buy the perfume. There's a lot of good perfumes out there that you would make it where you don't have to partake in anything that endangers animals. Okay, the next is the sable. The sable is a small carnivorous mammal native to Siberia. That's pretty cool. It is prized for its luxurious fur, which has made it a target of fur trappers for centuries. Again, I know sometimes you do these presentations and sometimes you say to yourself, maybe I shouldn't have. But admittedly, by not saying it or saying it doesn't make it where these animals are killed more often. I think, if anything, we would like to say that it in essence, helps bring attention to things that really just in today's world don't make a lot of sense. You know, you can have fur that is equally as good, if better, man-made. I mean, we can make such great stuff. And if someone says, well, you know, we can make a fur that looks better than the sables, but people won't buy it because it's not real. Well, again, don't be party to this whole thing. Anyway, the sable primarily feeds on small animals like rodents and birds. Okay. Now, I haven't read this yet, but 9 out of 10, they're not going to sit there and go, yeah, you know, a lot of people kill these Siberian brown bears. And I could be wrong. But I know you say, well, Jim, they have guns that you can shoot for, like, you know, many feet away from an animal, and they might not even know you're there. Now, any of these animals are pretty smart. They have unbelievable hearing, unbelievable capability of smelling, and you could be wearing whatever, and, you know, they can pick up or see you or hear you because they have excellent ears. Anyway, the Siberian brown bear is one of the largest bear subspecies found throughout the forests and mountains of Siberia. These omnivores are powerful and can be seen foraging for berries. God bless them. You know, I like berries. And they might say, well, you know, anyway. They also do and eat plants, fish during the warmer months. Now, when you say warm in Siberia, it's not really warm. It's not like, well, yeah, we're going to go and take our bathing suits and go swimming. Anyway, in winter, they hibernate to survive the freezing temperatures. And I always get a big kick out of, hibernation. we all need to sleep, let's say 8 hours and so on and so forth. We sleep less sometimes, more sometimes. But if you say, well, I'm going to take a nap and wake me up in 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. It's absolutely amazing. I know they eat more when they're not well, they're not eating when they're hibernating, but to get ready for hibernation. So they end up putting a lot of fat on so that when they go into their hibernation, could be cave, so on and so forth, they're, have a food source in their body. And it's interesting because we all could be fat. I'm not fat, but I'm not skinny. But it wouldn't be, well, I'm not going to eat for 3 months, so I get skinny. Well, you'll probably die. Anyway, so some things work for our wonderful animals, some things don't for us humans. Anyway, the next one is the wolverine. The wolverine is a fierce, stocky predator. Yeah, he looks stocky. Found in the remote forests of Siberia. Despite its small size compared to other predators, the wolverine is known for its strength and aggressive hunting tactics. It feeds on a wide variety of prey and is capable of taking down animals larger than itself. Yeah, boy, that's scrappy. And again, you can't say too much about animals going after animals. I mean, it is what it is. And I still have where I say having where humans go after animals is just isn't necessary. Anyway. Okay, the next one is what we call the reindeer. It's also called a caribou. The reindeer, also known as caribou, in North America roams the tundra and taiga regions of Siberia. Indigenous people of Siberia, such as the Evenki and Nenets, have traditionally herded reindeer for their meat, hides, and transportation. If you live there and you have to eat, I get it. But, I guess they don't have too many supermarkets so that you can say, well, I'm going to go and not eat the reindeer. But reindeer are well adapted to cold environments with specialized hooves for walking on snow. We see all of these having adapted over time to fit their environment so that they live and thrive. Okay, the next one is the Siberian ibex. The Siberian ibex is a species of wild goat that inhabits the mountainous regions of Siberia. With its long, curved horns and thick fur, the ibex is well adapted to life in the rugged, cold environments. It is an expert climber, and all these goats and so on and so forth, and deer, and they have hoofs that are made to allow them to walk on some pretty scary locations that probably you and I would say, no, I'm probably going to fall off if I go onto that little skinny little ledge. It is an expert climber and can be seen navigating steep, rocky terrain. Okay. This is the last one we're going to talk about, but this is the Baikal seal. The Baikal seal is a unique species of freshwater seal found only in Lake Baikal, the world's deepest and oldest freshwater lake. I might do a presentation on that. When you see things, and we love I love hidden caves, secret, find. I mean, really, you like that, where you'd be saying, oh, I would love to find a cave that no one's been in or hasn't been in a long time, and explore it and hope that you're not going to be sharing it with one of these other animals that, you know, would say, hey, you're going to be a good meal. Anyway, so they're in the freshwater lake located in the southern Siberia. These seals are small with a thick layer of blubber to insulate from the cold waters of the lake. And, you know, when I have the pleasure of searching for good images for all these animals, this one, you know, and I get 6 examples of, and you can have 4, you can have 2, you can have more than that. But when I looked at this one, I try to find the one that means the most to me looking at it. And this wonderful, you know, seal looks worried. And I just hope again, and luckily it didn't get into anything of where people hunt this seal for its skin or its fur, et cetera, et cetera. So we're not going to even worry about that right now. Anyway, Siberia's diverse habitats support a remarkable range of wildlife, many of which are highly specialized to survive the cold. Long winters and short summers, these animals have adapted over millennia to endure one of the most extreme climates on Earth. And you know, the thing you worry about, you know, with our climate change, and I know we could sit here all day and argue about what is really happening, whether it's a natural phenomena or is it really, you know, gases, you know, so on and so forth. I'm sorry, I'm stumbling a little bit, but greenhouse gases. I'm sorry. I always think, you know, what about these poor animals that they can't live in higher temperatures? And that will endanger, especially in Siberia, animals that say, no, I need, you know, below freezing all year round. And yeah, it's special even in the winter when it's minus, I don't even know the exact, but I'm talking it's probably, 50 to 100 degrees below zero. And then I know you get into centigrade or Celsius or Fahrenheit. And here again, I always mention the thing that we're being on the English system, Celsius or centigrade is a lot easier to kind of figure out because, you know, the English system is, well, 32 degrees is freezing. 98.6 is our human body temperature, and we go on and on and on. 37 degrees Celsius is what our body temperature is. And so, you know, you can get the scale and realize, you know, that it makes more sense to do metric. And I know I see some YouTube folks, they get into kind of giving you both when it comes to, and I love JZ 2 Cents. He's one of my favorite computer guys. And yeah, he tries to not only, you know, give you the English measurement of whatever he's going to give you, but he also, you know, a lot of times gives the metric counterpart. And that helps everybody because the metric system is so logical in the sense of tens 100s, and 1000s. When I was in healthcare, we use, in reference to medication dosages, we used millimeters, cc's, and very accurate. And if you're not careful, and you know, maybe I'll even do a presentation, there's a lot of things that have where people have to calculate a medication dose for a human. But the doctor could very well write, and I know this is a little off topic, but the doctor could write in metric, or he could make a mistake and not. Or the person that's taking the orders down make a mistake. And using the metric system with liters and centimeters and cc's and milliliters all make it where you shouldn't be making mistakes. And most of what we put medication into, I was a respiratory therapist for about 30 years. And, you know, when it says 3 cc's, you really know what that means. And you know, if you don't do 3 cc's and you do less, that's a mistake. But if you do more, it's even more of a mistake. And again, way off topic. But unfortunately, there's a lot of what we call medication errors that are done in hospitals, where the doctor writes something wrong, and the nurse, or in my case, the respiratory therapist, we have to know whether that's where it should be. And the weird thing is, and the way doctors write so quickly, and they write terribly most of the time, if they're going to write an order, we as healthcare practitioners have to work on making sure the dose makes sense. And if the doctor looked like he wrote 100 cc's where it should have been 10 cc's. I'm using an example. If you go and give that patient 100 cc's or whatever it is, and something happens, believe it or not, it's the medical practitioner's fault. Even if you're in a court of law and they say, well, the doctor wrote 100 cc's, they'd say, well, do you know that that particular medication should not be given with 100 cc dosages? And if you go, no, they say, well, you shouldn't be in healthcare. If you say yes, you're medically in trouble. So, hey, get used to the metric system. So, anyway, okay, here we go. You know, and it's wonderful doing this, and we pray every day for our animals. And the last thing I'll say, I know with our unfortunate hurricanes of late, Milton and then Helene, you know, we never want humans, I don't anyway. I mean, I feel we're all in this world together and we should work together. But bottom line, they'll say, you know, unfortunately, storm surge and people above their head and all of that. Well, people die from that. But you very much pray that the animals are going to be okay. Now, can an animal, like a dog or even a cat, swim? Yes. Can they swim long distances? It depends. Unfortunately, the elderly like me, I mean, I can swim, and I don't feel that I would drown if I had a home that had such a storm surge. Because, they're talking with, especially Milton, storm surges of 12 feet or even higher, 12 to 15 feet. Those, as they described multiple times, that's unsurvivable. You're not. And it's not that the water's deep and you swim in the water. It's just, it's almost like a tidal wave in so many words. It's not as bad, doesn't come as fast, but not a lot of people can swim real well. And, there's also creepy things in the water, things that, you don't want to have any contact with. But anyway, thank you for letting me go off on this little tangent. And again, everything is always appreciated, and supporting me is good, and it's really appreciated. It really is. Don't ever think that somebody's looking at you or showing you a presentation saying, I don't care if no one likes what I do, or doesn't click on and say, hey, that was okay. And what the big thing happens with YouTubers is, and I admit, this is one of my problems. This could be, let's say, this might be 20, 25 minutes. No, it's actually 31 minutes long. Oops. You might say, I watched 3 minutes. I watched 2 minutes. And one, you miss out on, I think, a lot of good information. But also, we get measured on not how pretty things look or how the animals look. It's all based on how many people watch it and how long they watch it for. And we have analytics, we have graphs. If the graph goes like this, where your video starts out and then it goes like this, because somebody just, I don't really want to watch this, and they just click off, and they have a right to. And I don't watch everything to the end all the time. I get it. If I get to where something I know or it's not interesting, yeah, I do it too. So it's not that I'm expecting you to do anything different than I do. It's just, if you feel the information is interesting, please stay as long as you can. And thank you. And you can come back to it. The good news is, every day I do my exercise on a stationary bicycle, and I watch YouTube. And if I don't finish what I was watching, when I go back in the afternoon, like, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, whatever, I will start up my, my iPad, and it will say, oh, yeah, you didn't finish this particular presentation you were watching. And you can either say, great, I'll continue, or no, I'm going to shut it down. So, I mean, it is what it is. And sometimes if you understand YouTube, I don't know, it helps maybe a little bit. So anyway, thank you so much for listening, especially the extra stuff I just brought up. Thank you.